Hey guys, Joshua here. Off of a long delay, couple days off. We're in front of where are we at? Blarney's, huh? Blarney's Pub and Grill. They got a bus available if you want to go watch their fake soccer over at the fake stadium. They do have a bus that will take you there. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I took a couple days off because I wanted to visit some family about 2 hours from Minneapolis, and it was a good time. I wanted to share this with you. I thought it was kind of cute. My niece made me a wristband that ended up being black and white, right? So I thought that was kind of coincidental. Why would she ever think to make me a black and white bracelet? Is up to her discretion, but I thought that was cute. And then I showed her my rings, and I said, hey, I got black and white rings too. And I was like, I'm definitely gonna wear this, thanks. So it was good. It was a good time to hang out there. We're at the corner of Dinkytown again. Severe overcast today. I think it might rain. It's kind of sprinkling out right now. It's about 65, 70 degrees. And it's pretty much going to be like this the rest of the day. So hopefully we don't get rained out, but it is still warm enough to draw people outside. And we're going to go back to our old stomping grounds here right up at the university. Kind of see if we can get some interactions. I do have some new signage, so we're going to challenge people on what is a circle and what is a oblate spheroid. So if you're not familiar with that, look up Neil deGrasse Tyson oblate sphere. It's a handful of videos out there where he states that we actually live on an egg-shaped Earth, and it's kind of contradictory because we just received a picture in 2015 of the most recent Earth in space picture, which shows actually a perfect circle and a globular spinning wet ball rocket flying millions of miles through space. The cameras has no problem, taking a picture of America and the continents with clouds in perfect symmetrical order. There's no morphing of cloud formations or anything, so it's a little bizarre, but what do I know? I'm just a guy who doesn't understand the language of math. And if you use math to prove outer space, you're using their model, the globe. So good luck with that. And math is a language. If you don't understand that, then I don't know what to tell you. I can't sit there and argue with people who, refuse to have an open mind and look at the facts that people who do run the earth are part of a giant cabal. Selected few people, bloodlines, rule over us, and we allow them to do whatever they want because nobody's really standing up for any of this information that is constantly out there. They want us to know about various news and fear-mongering reports on purpose. Just like this morning, it was released that a lady wanted to go to the bathroom during some turbulence, and they say that she was forced to pee in a cup, and that she was not allowed to get up I think I have pretty good persuasive skills where I'd be able to talk myself into the bathroom, where I'd just get up and say, you know what, do what you got to do. I'm going to get up and go to the bathroom. So, or I'm going to pee my pants. So, oh, Tim Larson, one of the biggest trolls on my page. Go check out his Facebook page, everybody. He sits around and does absolutely nothing, but takes care of his family like any other civilized American would and should. Pay your taxes, make sure you do that. And so we'll get him triggered, I'm sure, today. So that's always fun. Yet again, he still won't sit down with me and have a conversation at a cafe. You know, it's funny that people like him can sit behind a keyboard and a desk and a computer monitor and flame people's blogs, but when you invite them to come out and have a meal and coffee and talk about it, what a coincidence. He doesn't want to. So he's afraid, or you know, this information is just too challenging for him. So if he thinks he's going to convince me to go back and believing what the establishment tells us about where we live, I pray for you, man. That's all I can do. There's no time, you know. I'm done casting pearls to swine. You know, I'm done trying to, you know, lead people to the water in that sense. I'm definitely here to, you know, give people alternative information, and if it's up to them to have that awakening, you know, that's up to them. Then they're meant to be awoke. But I think that a lot of people who are like-minded like me have realized that a majority of these people don't want to wake up. They're afraid to wake up. They don't know where to turn if they do wake up. So they just kind of stay in a somber and comfortable state of mind. And that's what fluoride toothpaste and fluoridated water do you. You know, it just makes you docile and kind of accept your surroundings. You believe anything and everything that you say. We have a countdown, folks, so let's just be prepared for liftoff here.
3, 2, 1.
And ignition. SpaceX creating some more propaganda called CGI. So, but you don't see anybody, you know, hey, I'm open to come hang out, have a discussion, and I'll bring some information. But, you know, if you really want to believe in math and scientists, that's a religion. You know, that's a religion, you know, because you have not been to space, and neither have I. But I feel more confident that space is fake and that what they're giving us is a lie than most people do want to classify themselves as religious, because you are if you believe NASA. You know, you are if you believe Hollywood, CGI. And so the facts are that everything NASA gives us is CGI. So that's the facts. You know, aside from math and all that, you can't prove that space is real, because it's all CGI. So, and that's an unfortunate conundrum for a lot of people who flame, and you got robots out there coming at me, trying to, you know, they key on keywords that I say during my films and my blogs, and then they come in and they think that they're going to scare me by threatening me with physical and or verbal violence. You know, so that's their prerogative. That's what they're written for. And the real sad thing is that a lot of people do get in fear, and then they back down because they're like, well, I don't know, is there enough proof? You know, is there enough evidence to provide that space is fake and NASA is a fraud? Yeah, there is, actually. There's plenty of it. And I'm here to call their bluff. And so we're going to present some information to these kids. Like I said, I got some new signs here. Got the classic satellites don't exist, because that's really what we got to hit them with. You got to hit them with that CGI. So we got this guy here. You know, real simple. What is the shape of the Earth? What is it supposed to look like? Okay, that's a sphere. And on the bottom is an oblate spheroid. And here we go. That's the most recent picture of where they tell us we live. That's the Epic camera, and July 6, 2015. That's a circle. And this is the definition of what we're told. So, whenever somebody wants to give me an answer, that'd be great. Then I can go home. So, you know, unfortunately, people take in what they hear at school and they don't investigate any further. And then all their beliefs and their faith lie in the scientists' eyes, because they're smarter, right? They went to school. They know maths. And so, I'm just going to find out what size and what shape the Earth is supposed to be, because it's not what they tell us. So, still waiting for a response from Tim. So whenever Tim Larson wants to sit down and conversate with me in person, you know, instead of hiding behind his keyboard and monitor, you know. But he probably has some pent-up aggression. He probably lives in the past. You know, he's probably upset. Probably upset that I'm tired of being lied to, and I just get up here and talk to people about it. And I get attention, whether it be positive or negative. Maybe Tim wants attention. So everybody go to his Facebook page, like all of his stuff, you know, respond to all of his amazing pictures of his family and stuff. Make him feel good today. It's all about Tim Larson today. So just pray about that guy. Hopefully he wakes up someday. But until then, you know, he'll just sit behind his computer and talk to his wife about how dumb I am and what an idiot I am, and then we'll see who has the last laugh, right? I'm not here to be right. I'm not here to prove anybody wrong. I'm just presenting some evidence that I just thought was interesting. Funny how if you were to present maths to somebody like Tim Larson, he wouldn't be able to understand it because that's maths. You know, he apparently knows calculus and he's an astrophysicist. He has a doctorate and stuff, so, you know, he'll be able to look at it and just be like, within 2 seconds, interpret what is being said and stated. Because he's SMRT and we're not. So, we're going to hang out at this corner for a little bit. We had some good interactions before at this corner, and then we'll kind of switch it up and kind of walk around. I think later, if it doesn't rain, more people will be available at the park over here. And then I might go back to a couple of bus stops. Sorry, Tim, you missed it, bud. I already showed you, so you'll have to rewind. So, try to get some good interactions. If you stay tuned, you might see my sign. Yep. All right. Yeah, nothing's worth it, right, Tim? Nothing's worth it. Whenever you want to sit down and have a meal, I'll buy. You know, have some coffee and we'll chat. But that's up to you, man. That's all up to you. We can stream it too if you want. Live stream, interview. Try to stump me, you know. Try to throw me in the corner, ask me all the maths questions you want, and I'll say I don't know, man, because I don't know math. How you doing, man?
Hey, sorry, I got a sprint of you.
Hey, that's fine. That's great. is terrific. But yeah, Tim. But I know you want attention. I know that you're here so that you can get attention for people to go to your Facebook page. I already recommend people do, so people go to his page and check him out. But when you can show me a picture of a satellite in space, I'll go home. So show me that satellite that I'm supposed to be connected to. Anytime you want to show me that satellite, it'd be great. How you doing? Yeah, I'm just a regular guy too, Tim. I'm just kind of tired of being lied to. So if you like being lied to, whether it's either to spare your feelings or intentional, you know, that's your prerogative. My prerogative is to find out why we're being lied to for such a long time. Why they can give us pictures one year of Earth from space and give us another one of Earth from space, and those continents just so happen to be different sizes, you know. And people actually want to defend these people, which is, that's fine. I feel ya. I used to be there too. You know, I wouldn't even question. That's the thing. Like, I never had anybody come against me to say, like, hey dude, did you know that screensaver on your computer is CGI? Tim, I cover all those questions in previous videos, so I'd love for you to check those out. I do cover why we're being lied to. Actually, with interviews with casual college kids, they ask me that question, and I'm open with them and I tell them. So I invite you to look at my other videos, or you could wait and maybe we'll have an interaction with somebody and they'll ask that exact question. I can easily divulge that information. Won't even be a problem. So I heart toxic waste. I think the Toxic Avenger loves toxic waste too. That's where he was born. She was wearing a I heart toxic waste. I'm gonna guess that she is a global warmer and she's just being cute. So what is more real? Wax fruit or real fruit? You know, they both look almost identical, you know. How you doing, man? But people are biting into the waxed pear idea. You know, we're given photos of Earth for decades. But when Neil deGrasse Tyson and other mainstream scientists say that the Earth is a pear or oblate, people just go along with it and they're like, yep, that's probably true. Regardless of the images that were given in the past, now they're saying that it's not a perfect circle, so yeah, we'll just go along with it. Because they know, you know, cameras must have been malfunctioning, communication from hundreds of thousands of miles away, Wi-Fi interruption. Somebody's cat probably knocked the wireless router off the desk in NASA. So hey, that's great, Tim. Glad you watched it. Funny how they lost all the trajectory data and threw away and destroyed the information to go back to the moon. NASA admits that. So even if we wanted to go back, they lost the directions and they destroyed all of the technology. So figure that out. But just ignore what I say. You know, what I say and information that I give out is just my opinion until you look it up. Don Pettit said that. Former astronaut said that we destroyed technology. Because that makes sense, right? We're going to destroy, you know, technology to get to the moon. You know, we're gonna destroy the idea of how to build houses, right? With basements and framing and stuff. We're just going to live in mud huts, right? That makes sense. So we lived in mud huts. We tried out the whole house thing and the framing, basements, you know, 5-6 bedrooms, maybe even make a few mansions here and there. But we destroyed all that architecture and those ideas. We'll just live in mud huts. You know, we don't need to do that. That doesn't even make any sense. So yeah, there you go with more math, Tim. More math, because you understand math, right, Tim? Because if somebody actually gave you an answer regarding math, you would be able to look at it like me with Thai. With Thai language, I don't know what Thai language is in English. And if somebody gave you an equation about math, you wouldn't be able to look at it either. It would just look like numbers and symbols. So math is your God, man, and that's fine. Gravity is Jesus Christ to you, and science books are written by your prophets.
Is this Flat Earth Society?
No, sir.
Oh, what is this?
No, I'm just hanging out, man, just asking a question. What shape is the Earth supposed to be? Do you know?
I was thinking like a sphere. Is it not?
No, it's not.
What is it?
It's actually a pear-shaped. It's like that oblate sphere on the bottom. That's what your mainstream scientists tell us now. You didn't know that?
Wait, say that again. So it's this...
Your mainstream scientists say that we live on an oblate spheroid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So, does that concern you?
What's the factual?
Oh, well, this is the fact. That's from the Epic camera from 2015. That's our most recent picture of Earth from space.
Okay.
Which is also CGI.
Why is it CGI?
Because they're all CGI, man.
Well, isn't this a picture from a satellite? Why are you saying they like photoshopped things?
They say that they Photoshop things, man, on the NASA website. You know why they have to Photoshop it?
Why is that?
Because it has to be. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they say. So does this look like a circle or a sphere?
It looks like a sphere.
Yeah. But mainstream science tells us that it's not. It's actually an oblate spheroid.
What is mainstream science?
You know, you like your Neil deGrasse Tysons, your Michio Kaku's.
Okay.
Yeah, like your basically those are your spokesmen.
So are you spreading the word that CGI is affecting our perceptions?
I am, yeah. So do you when you watch like Hollywood movies, did you see Guardians of the Galaxy over the weekend?
I haven't. I still have to get there.
Okay.
My finals are taking over.
Okay, yeah, I bet, man. But in regards to that, like, do you believe that like Hollywood and like CGI and like reality, like you and I, like those are comparable?
I mean, it's all fiction in the end. But
It is, yeah. Bill Shatner says that science and science fiction are actually essentially the same thing.
Well, I find a distinction in them.
You do?
Yes.
So you can tell the difference between CGI and real?
I can't find a distinction.
You can't?
Well, in some movies I can.
Oh, wow. Well, I would definitely encourage you to, you know.
I mean, it's all entertainment. That's the purpose.
It is, but it's also programming. Did you know that? The establishment uses that to make you believe.
So you're saying the government is responsible for misinformation?
100%.
Okay.
You're not given any information from television or the internet unless they want to give you that information. You do realize that, right?
So you're saying, okay, satellites don't exist.
Yeah. So is this a real picture of a satellite in space?
I'm thinking this is some kind of animation.
It is some kind of animation, yeah. This is a satellite in space where if you Google image satellites in space,
Okay.
guess what you get?
What do I get?
This.
Really?
Yeah, third-person images of a satellite
So it's
in space.
One picture of the thousands?
I don't have 1,000 pieces of paper, man.
Oh.
You know, what am I going to do? Am I going to print off? You want to reimburse me all the pictures?
No, I'm just
No.
questioning.
Yeah, sure, I get it. But yeah, this is one picture of many on Google, man. So if I was to implore you and encourage you to take out your cell phone where it's not raining, like your dorm or your laptop, and you were to Google image satellites in space, and this is all you get, are CGI,
Oh, goodness. What does that mean?
well, it means that my statement at the top might be right?
So they don't exist. So Google Images is what gives us accurate facts.
Well, where do you do your research? Could you give me an idea of like
Well, I go
what a
to-
person would consider real quote research,
Yeah, well-
not using the internet?
Or not using
Yeah, not using the internet. Because
So-
apparently what I use here is blasphemy in terms of quote research because,
Well, I use accurate journals established particles.
Okay.
Actual physical forms of paper.
sure, like would a Popular Science or National Geographic be credible?
Well, it depends on the article, of course.
Oh, okay. So you're able to discern fake from real, but I can't because I'm going against what mainstream science says about where we live.
So kind of missing your argument.
Well, I'm saying that when I present information to show that all the information that we receive from NASA is CGI, and all of the pictures from space of Earth, satellites, Jupiter, Mars, all that is all CGI, okay? And I give you credible sources like NASA and whatnot on the internet, and all that is CGI. Can you give me some credible resources that would show that this is not CGI?
I'm definitely sure there could be something like that.
Okay. Do you think that I have not exhausted all that information to stand here in the rain on a Wednesday afternoon with my phone?
I mean, you're wearing a nice tie. I guess you gotta do something with that.
I mean, I can buy a tie on Amazon for $10 and come out here. Huh?
It could be CGI too. We could all be a depiction of some kind of program
Yeah.
right now.
I know, man. I'm just trying to let you know.
Pixelated.
I'm trying to let you know that satellites don't exist, and everything that NASA gives us is CGI.
Interesting.
And if that idea brings you to where we live on a flat Earth,
Yeah.
that's up to you, man.
Are you a flat Earth aficionado?
I would say I don't believe that we live on a spinning wet ball rocket hurtling millions of miles through space, because who took that picture, man? So you're telling me that while the Earth is moving at an unmeasurable amount of speed, that this camera is able to stay steady and take a picture?
I mean, that means you're assuming that gravity doesn't exist.
Well, gravity is a god, man. Yeah,
Gravity.
is a created god, because something that is heavier than the air around it
Okay.
falls to the ground, and you name it something.
Something that. Say that again.
Just because something falls to the ground and the object is heavier than the air around it doesn't mean that you can call it something and bow down and worship it.
Okay.
That's just my opinion, man. Because what the establishment does with public schooling is it makes you distrust your natural senses.
Okay.
Something is heavier than the air around it, it falls.
Then how do you explain, let's say, helium?
It's lighter than the air around it, so it rises. I mean, it's really basic and simple.
So there's no gravity.
No, you can't call it that.
Okay.
That's just my opinion, man. You know? And if I were to be a believer in God, and an atheist was to come up to me and say, well, how is it that so-and-so can let all this bad stuff happen? And I could say, well, God's in control. You know, if he's an all-perfect, all-knowing being that judges righteously, don't you think that people who have never heard of him, he would judge righteously on what they have observed? I mean, so if somebody was to say, well, how does this and that happen? And then you respond by gravity, you know, isn't that kind of the same thing?
So you're saying God doesn't exist too?
I'm saying it's a comparative. Yeah. Does that make sense?
No, man.
Yeah. Because the Bible is written by guys, right?
By who?
The Bible was written by man, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I guess we don't know. That's it.
Okay. Well, if you were to explore a little bit, you would find out that it was written by man who were inspired by the Holy Spirit to write the Bible. And so if people wrote your science books, do you think that they might have been inspired by science and a language called math to create a language and a religion?
I guess it's more based on actual observation, recorded observation.
Yeah. If so, do you believe that water curves then?
Water what?
Do you believe that water curves?
Curves.
Yeah.
In what way does it curve? What do you mean by curve?
Have you ever been to the ocean before?
I have been to the ocean.
Okay. Do you have a picture of you hanging out at the ocean?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
Sure. Like at the horizon and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, you can see the flat Earth right around, and you can see the ocean waves.
Okay. Yep. Do you ever see anything kind of go over the horizon and you just say, well, that must have gone over the horizon because it's curved? Has that ever crossed your mind?
Are we going back to the flat Earth?
I'm asking you a question.
I mean, if I'm standing on the top hill, I guess I can kind of see the curvature. That's what
You kind of see the curvature?
I can see the curvature, yes.
Okay. But what about those people on the beach who say that they can see the curve? Are they lying or is...
Are you saying water curves as in like a canal in the river, or more of like curves in the distance?
Yeah, I'm saying like curve in the distance.
Oh, it could be light effects?
Sure. Like a mirage?
Sure.
Okay. Does that make sense to you?
I'm kind of confused on what is making sense. I'm confused on your point.
Well, my point was I was asking you if water curves.
So-
Are you going to school here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you believe in gravity, right?
The system has made me believe in gravity.
Okay, well that's a good response. Okay. I understand that you might be open-minded to the idea of flat Earth.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm just asking you to help me understand what it is that you believe and what it is that you don't.
Okay.
That's why I asked you if that's why I asked you if water curves.
Well, I've seen. I have seen it curve, and I have not. We'll say that.
Okay. Do buildings tilt?
Buildings tilt?
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
They do. So if you see a building from 50 miles away, it's kind of like at a 45-degree angle because of the Earth's curvature.
Okay. Do I? Well, the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Sure.
Is at a certain angle.
That's a unique situation, but a majority of the skyscrapers in downtown Minneapolis, are they when you're 20, 30 miles away?
The size of Earth in general.
Oh, okay.
So what do you have to say to that? The fact that if you're standing right here, and if the world was assumed to be round like
a pizza or round like a
like a sphere.
Okay, like a ball.
Basketball.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
think
if
that it's good to clarify what you mean by round and
So if I'm standing at the 12 o'clock position,
yeah.
and you're standing at the 1 o'clock position, so but gravity doesn't exist. Okay. So we have to make it to that extent where you're saying that if 12 o'clock and I'm standing at 1 o'clock, then this 1 o'clock should be leading? Is that what you're saying?
No. That from what I understand, if there's a distance enough between 2 points, buildings should have some kind of a tilt to them if the Earth is curved, right?
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just from my own personal experience of public education. It's been a while since I've been there, but yeah, I mean, that's just where my conclusions came to, and to me it just didn't really make sense because I've never seen a building tilt because of the curvature of the Earth.
Okay.
The Leaning Tower of Pisa is just a unique situation where the foundation maybe couldn't handle that type of structure.
Do you have any more examples I could bring about to other people to spread this message? We have the curvature of the Earth being profoundly seen through the curving of the water.
Mm-hmm.
We have tower buildings that should be curving, should be tilting.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
Well, I would just encourage you to you know what the ISS is, right?
I don't know.
You never heard of the International Space Station?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay, yeah. It's been up there for a couple of years,
Okay.
right? Have you ever watched the live stream or anything?
No, I think I should do that.
Yeah, you should check it out. Yeah, it's quite provocative because my whole thing about things being CGI in space if you were to watch the ISS live stream for about an hour, I mean, you got to give it a good amount of time because people tell me that the Earth is big, right?
Okay.
But I have yet to see a satellite pass by the view of the camera on the ISS.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
I'm just curious to know why I don't see any satellites during the live stream. Why is it when I watch NASA and their ISS live stream inside the capsule, it appears that there may be blue, like green screen in the back behind the actors. Yeah.
Okay.
And are you familiar with what the vomit comet is?
Vomit comet?
Vomit comet?
No.
Yeah. It's actually a very large airplane
Okay.
that simulates zero-G gravity. And you and I can go on it if we want. You know, you're going to pay a couple $100, I'm sure.
It goes down. Okay.
Yeah, it in nosedives. Yeah. There are rumors that the ISS CGI space station might be a movie studio inside of it at Vomit Comet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just peculiarities that just don't really match up. You know, in most murder cases, if you're a murderer and you can't find the prosecutor can't find the body, or even the weapon that may or may not have been used, what do you usually think that's done to the murderer, or the accused, if you will? Probably goes free, right? So I'm just trying to present some information that I just find, I scratch my head because I can't find any satellites on the ISS live stream. All of the information that we get in regards to outer space is CGI. So it's challenging.
Bringing awareness.
Yeah, just kind of bring some awareness, you know. So, yeah. You got anything else, you know?
I was just thinking, like, we have this entire conspiracy, right?
Mhm.
Conspiracy of the government actually taking over.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I could believe it. I could go, devote my time, devote my effort into proving, disproving, right? There's so much else going on. There's student hunger on campus.
Yeah.
There is individuals dying across the earth.
Yep.
People in this community just cannot afford not only to eat, but they don't even have enough money to afford housing.
Yeah.
So I'd rather devote my time to that than...
How much does NASA get per day, do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, just recently on March 21st, Donald Trump gave NASA $19.5 billion.
Okay.
That's around $52 million a day.
Okay.
So do you think that those problems that you just said could be resolved by providing us with that $52 million instead of giving us CGI images?
Well, that's I guess a different argument. But the fact is that I'm saying more on a community level.
Yeah, this is a community level, because don't you want to know where we live? I mean, if this isn't where we live, where do we live, man?
On a flat Earth society.
I'm not a flat Earth society, man. You familiar with what flat Earth society is?
I know they believe in the flat Earth.
Yeah. I hope that you use better discernment as you get older, because that's called controlled opposition.
What does that mean?
It means that they give you some truth in a matter or a topic, but they're gatekeepers, and they actually steer you away from the truth because of their claims. So what they claim, for example, is that we live on a flat Earth, but we're actually going upwards, if you will, like on that plane, we're traveling upwards, and that's how they explain gravity.
Right.
Yeah. That's not true, man. You just have to try to understand discernment, you know, like your Alex Joneses and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, like there's a lot of information there. But when you mentioned...
I want to hear your perspective. Like, so where do you come from? What's your... Is this a hobby?
Yeah, man. I do this regularly because I want to inform people that we're being lied to.
Do you have a society I look into? Or like,
I mean, I have a YouTube channel if you want to check it out.
Is this what's streaming right now?
This is Facebook.
It's streaming live?
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Are there people watching?
There are. Hundreds of millions of people across the earth, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
You mean on the earth?
Yeah. All over. Yeah. I got these for you.
Oh, cool.
You like M&Ms?
I do, fun size.
Yeah.
Just like everything. Perfect. Cool.
Let me
Awesome.
let me give you this. Actually, it's in my pocket here.
I'm actually lactose intolerant. So.
Oh, you are? Okay. My fault. I don't want to cause you to stumble. So, check it out, man. You know, it's just an alternative, clearly an alternative view, but I do feel very passionate about being lied to. That's just my opinion, but what's your name again?
David.
David. Joshua.
Nice
Yeah, you too, man. Stay dry out there.
Of course, you too.
Thanks, man. It's not raining out too bad. It's just sprinkling. But it's warm. It's not like it was a couple weeks ago when it was raining and 40. This isn't a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. So, yeah, he seemed open. You know, that's cool. I hope what I was able to offer was informative and challenging. Nobody's going to agree with what I have to say, and it's new information at the time, so I don't expect anybody to just fall in line and forget everything that they've been taught, but it might take some time. I might be doing this because I'm trying to wake people up so that they wake up 5 or 6 months from now. You know? It takes a while to deprogram and reprogram. Took me a long time. You know, this is me after 18 months, you know? Yeah, he certainly seemed open. Glad he stopped. David. Gentlemen?
Satellites don't exist.
Nope.
Why?
Because they're all CGI, man.
What?
Everything NASA gives us regarding outer space is all CGI.
CGI.
Computers, yes. So if you Google image Earth from space, it's a CGI image.
How do they get that?
They develop a picture on a computer.
How do they develop that?
Photoshop. You familiar with Photoshop? NASA admits on their website that they Photoshop images of Earth from space.
Oh, wow.
Please look into it, man. We're being massively deceived. NASA's a massive fraud and liars. All right. How do they do that? Well, by using Hollywood CGI and make it look real. Which is why they're coming out with 8K televisions. They want to train your mind into looking at super high def so you cannot tell the difference between CGI and real. I know, man. It's hard to believe, but they don't exist. It's all CGI, man. No, I'm not. And if you stop for 1 minute, I could prove it to you. But NASA gives us CGI, man. Everything that we get is computer images. Sorry to burst your bubble. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, it never crossed my mind either. Never crossed my mind. I had the picture of a blue marble right on my computer screen before I left for Thailand. Thought that was real.
Pleasant. Walk centers on the cross. Plus 11.
How you doing?
Good, you?
Good, good. I love this picture. So fun. Satellites don't exist. They do on the ground, though. they do on the ground when a bunch of 5th graders get together and they take that thing to the Minneapolis Convention Center and they're trying to win a prize. That looks like it could win a prize. But that's on the ground. That may or may not be a working model of a satellite that they tell us they launch by SpaceX. SpaceX. That wording is done on purpose to mock and ridicule us. If you like to be mocked and ridiculed, that's your prerogative. I don't like to be lied to and mocked. This guy's a limo driver. Minneapolis, Minnesota. Home of the Golden Gophers. I was at a thrift store yesterday and I saw a Badgers hat. I was really tempted to get it. Wear a Badgers hat in Minneapolis campus. That might get some. Wonder what would be more offensive to kids here at the college. Wearing one of the biggest rivals, the Wisconsin Badgers, which they can't win against, so I don't know why they even call it a rivalry. Or satellites don't exist. What's more controversial? But they can make wax fruit look real. So who knows, you know? Make wax fruit look real. Yeah. I saw a couple fraternities and sororities on the way here. You know, and that's tradition, you know. It's traditional to do all that. Because when you're learning and drinking alcohol, it's always a good combination. Because then you don't think, it just gets into your subconscious. How you doing, ladies?
Hi, what are you
Hey.
working on?
Oh, we're just hanging out, letting people know that satellites aren't real.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
What?
I know, right?
Tell us about it.
Oh, thanks. Well, does this look like a picture of a real satellite to you?
No. It looks like a drawing or something.
Yeah. Maybe
Computerized drawing.
maybe like a CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what they tell us is in space, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is a picture of a real satellite in space.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so what does this look like to you?
That looks real.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
Right. This is a satellite that they tell us, but where is it, though?
it's on the ground.
It's on the ground. So it's a bit of a conundrum. This may or may not be a working model done by a bunch of 6th graders
Yeah.
to win a contest, but then this is what they tell us it does when it's in space. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I do have like another thing for you. I got like parlor tricks and stuff, but I got a question.
What size is America?
Yeah. You just want to point out which size America's supposed to be so I can go home? It's kind of raining, so.
The smaller one.
Okay. How about you?
Yeah. It
There
looks
should be a consensus here. I mean,
Yeah. This looks like America.
there shouldn't.
To me. This one, I don't know if I can use that.
Okay. Okay, sure. You like the one on the left?
Yeah.
These are both official NASA photos, and they're both CGI.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So, the inconsistency.
There's a little bit of inconsistencies. And these are just 2 of about a dozen pictures of Earth from space.
Interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
So interesting.
So they're actually all CGI. Everything that we get. So if you were to use like an amateur telescope and you were to look at like Jupiter or Saturn,
Yeah.
those are actually just unique lights in the sky.
it
Yeah.
be? Like just like weird space
Well,
stuff?
a lot of people, in my opinion, just stuff, like this isn't fact or anything, but it's my opinion, space is water.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd never thought of that before.
Yeah, I mean, you're from the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints, so you're familiar with the Bible, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so remember when God said that he separated the waters from the waters?
Yeah.
And there's a firmament? That's your firmament.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it may or may not be a dome over us, like the Truman Show, for example. Hollywood does use...
kinda
Yeah, Hollywood does use... Hollywood and NASA use each other to predictively program our thoughts and our minds. So they actually do tell us the truth in movies like The Truman Show or Dark City, but we think of it as entertainment. But the establishment actually works in an occult duality type of deal where they say one thing but then they really mean another. So the public sees it as entertainment, but they see it as we're telling the truth, so our conscience and our karma is clear, so they can move on.
How fascinating.
Yeah, it is actually
That's
quite
really
fascinating.
interesting.
Yeah.
Are you like working like with a project, or is this like a class? I'm just curious. Like.
Oh, actually, I do have a YouTube channel.
Oh,
I'd really
cool.
encourage you to check it out.
Thank you.
You guys here? Want to check it out?
Sure.
Yeah.
Authentic.
You just
content.
telling me about
Yeah.
this entire thing.
Sure.
More about it.
Yeah. So I think that this is a bit odd too. If you could just kind of help me out here. Does that make sense? The one on the right is the official UN flag. All of those sections divide up into 33 parts. The Scottish Rite of Freemasonry highest rank is 33. And on the left, this may or may not be a depiction of a flat Earth map.
Why would the UN do that? Why?
Well, if you read the bottom of what it says, it's called Truth Hidden in Plain Sight.
But like, why? Like, what would incline the UN to give it away?
Because when I tell people that we live on a flat Earth and not a spinning ball wet rocket flying through space, they wouldn't believe me. So the UN can do this because 99.9% of everybody here is indoctrinated that we do live on a ball. So they can do whatever they want.
But the UN knows.
Oh yeah, they're part of they're the establishment.
Yeah.
So if somebody was to believe that this entire Earth is not run by a giant cabal of very small amount of people that have communication with demonic entities in another dimension, we could sit down and have a very long conversation, but I'm just trying to present you guys with some interesting coincidences that everything we get regarding outer space is CGI.
So like, about I don't know, maybe like my version. But like, how many people would you say like in on conspiracy?
Everything's compartmentalized, So the left hand doesn't really know what the right hand is doing. So like your cell phone, like a person's just building a microchip. Where is it going? They don't know. They're just building a microchip. So you're basically left to a need-to-know basis, and everybody doesn't need to know.
But like, okay, like I have a friend who interned at the UN.
Sure.
Would you say he would know since he worked?
I don't know, man.
Like,
Saying that to me doesn't do anything. I'd have to be around them in person and actually hear them speak. I feel like I have some sense of discernment of understanding a liar and somebody who's telling the truth. And I listen to a lot of liars.
yeah.
So I don't know. It's
Very
just
interesting perspective.
yeah.
And
It never crossed my mind either. And the one that you were pointing out that looks like a real picture of Earth from space, I had that on my screensaver
really,
2 years ago.
that's funny.
It never crossed my mind that it was computer.
So what, do you mind me asking, what started this journey for you?
Yeah.
What,
I just sought truth.
yeah.
I was already a believer 10 years ago, so I already know who Christ is and whatnot. So I really wanted to understand more truth and go down that bunny trail. And I was brought to 200 proofs the Earth is not a spinning ball. It's by a guy whose name is Eric Dubé. I don't agree with everything that he says, but he does present some provocative information regarding where we live. And so that kind of started it about 18 months ago.
Wow.
So, and you can do your own observations, A lot of people can see objects on a beach from almost 150 miles away. So if you're able to see a mountaintop from over 150 miles away, that's almost 15,000 feet of curvature. You shouldn't even be able to see that mountain anymore. Because your perspective, the mountain would be down here because of the curve. And if you kind of investigate and you search, use your own discernment on the information being presented to you and weigh it against what you already know. And it's very hard because your subconscious wants to fight against it because of what we've been taught since we were 3. So
I definitely like what you're saying about like discover things for yourself, like look
Yeah.
for yourself. And
Yeah.
that's kind of like the message that we share, even from
sure.
like a Christian standpoint. It's
Yeah.
don't take everything for face value and what people tell you. Like, you know, find out for yourself. Our message is ask God. You know, and
right.
you know, we're the source of all truth. What's right and what's wrong. So
Exactly.
I kind of like that. It's part of the science, you know, field too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, just
Find out for yourself.
observe, you know, and that's unfortunately a lot of people, they trust so much in math and they don't actually realize that math is a language and the alphabet for English was simplified. So when people think that they're using English and it's such a great language and there's so many opportunities, it's actually a very dumbed down language. And so when I present people with King James Bible verses, they're like, I can't read that, it's so confusing. And it's like, but you can understand English because you're actually dumbed down. It's a watered down way for us to communicate with each other. And so that's why the establishment wants to spread English to all countries, is because they want to have everybody speak the same language. And where did we hear that before? You know, Genesis 7, 8, and 9, you know, with Babel. And so and right now there are people that are using CERN and D-Wave supercomputers to simulate reality and open up portals that they admit that they are trying to talk to dimensions and entities from other realms. So
Wow, that is very interesting.
Do you think you could like run through the flat Earth theory with me? Like, I'm just,
yeah,
I wanna hear
sure.
more.
Well, I
Do you
mean,
think that we live in a flat Earth?
I guess, yeah, thanks for stopping,
Yeah,
ladies.
thanks
Yeah,
for talking with us.
yeah, definitely.
What was your name?
Joshua.
Joshua, nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
you too,
Nice
ladies.
to see you too.
All right,
Also.
stay dry out there. I hope you check it out.
True to Jesus Christ. Yeah. Do you know Mormons?
Yeah, I know a couple more.
Yeah, you do? Can I give you a card before we run?
Sure.
Okay.
I have a friend who's like, I knew it was a good friend of mine from high school. He's like in 80 years.
No thanks.
That's awesome. Come join us. Check out the website and text us. We have lots of fun activities and church and all sorts of good stuff. So.
Best of luck.
Okay, we'll have fun.
Great.
Talk to you guys later.
Bye, ladies. Thanks. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess let's start off with what intrigues you about it and what are some holdups.
Well, so I think like it seems like the overwhelming evidence would incline me to believe that we live in a spherical world.
Sure.
But I'm very curious to hear like what inclines people to believe that we live in a flat Earth.
Sure.
And like I love to hear like other theories, and I think that's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
Especially for you to come out here in like a liberal college campus.
Yeah, I've been
Like,
here for a couple of weeks actually. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah?
I come out here very often.
But I really want to hear just more about it.
Sure. I mean, basically, like, I just present people with just oddities, and kind of they can lead to their own conclusions. So, this is a picture of what they tell us is a satellite. Does this look real to you?
No, that looks like a computer generated.
Yeah. So it's CGI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about this guy?
I would say that it's probably a real image.
Yeah, it looks more real than the other one, right? But where is this picture?
It's on Earth.
It's on the ground, right? And this may or may not be a working model done by a bunch of 8th graders who won a contest. You know, who knows? But if this is what they tell us a satellite looks like after it's built, and this is what they tell us it looks like when it's in space, do you see any inconsistencies with that claim?
Well, so are you saying that there's no real images of satellites in space?
I am.
But when I see a satellite,
Yep.
you know, just like when I'm outside at night, what is that? Like,
What do you see, though? Do you see this, or do
No,
you
I
see
see
a light in the sky?
But
Okay.
if I were to take a telescope,
Yep.
I would see a satellite.
What type of telescope are you using?
I don't have
Like a digital telescope, most likely?
it. Or probably like just an analog.
Okay. Did you know that a lot of the telescopes that are being put out today have algorithms in them that are lights claimed by NASA that they tell us those are satellites in space?
But how could, if I just have a regular telescope, you know, just a couple lenses
Yep.
and a mirror, like, you think there's no way that NASA could be infiltrating the image that I receive on that? Right?
Yes, sir.
How I'm not talking about like anything that's not connected to the internet.
Sure.
Just a couple lenses.
Yep.
How could they possibly interfere with that?
They may or may not be drones up in the sky.
Ah, okay.
You know. Did you know that the NASA balloon program is significantly larger than their shuttle program?
Well, for weather and for
No, just in general. Just check it out in general.
Right.
Those blimps and balloons may or may not have communication purposes on them.
Sure.
Okay. There was most recently one launched in April of 2025 of this year, a couple weeks ago, in New Zealand. It's the size of a football field. And that may or may not have communication purposes to it. So did you hear about that launch by this balloon? Was it a national thing? Did you hear about it?
No, I didn't hear about
Okay. Did you?
it. But I mean,
No.
I definitely believe it. Like they're trying to. Well, I guess what NASA would say is that they're trying to see the weather patterns. And
That may or may not be true.
I feel like so. Here's my biggest thing about it. Is
Yeah.
like, how could so many people be in? I mean, how could you resort to believing this number of people are in this? I mean, for us to just the massive numbers of people that would have to be on it. I mean,
I get it, man.
would have to be okay. So you're saying you said already the UN, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then the entire NASA, which is thousands and thousands of people.
Yep.
And then beyond that, like the government, every government in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Are you familiar with what plausible deniability means?
What's that?
Just means deny. I mean, a person can deny things until they're presented with truth, right? And so since there's so much evidence of math being true, and math is a language that can be converted into numbers and letters, okay, that's called gematria. Are you familiar with what gematria is? Okay, I would suggest that you try to get familiar with it, because that's what the establishment uses to communicate in an underlying way that most people like you and me would not understand unless they investigated such things. And so it's called compartmentalization.
So you're saying there's basically like a class of people, like the establishment.
Yes, there's bloodlines.
Once you get once you're in the establishment,
Yes.
you get taught.
You would get, as you grow and show more interest and you pay money to get into higher levels of knowledge. Yes.
Okay. And why are they doing this?
Because they want to control your mind, man.
How does us thinking that the world is round make it how is
What is typically the foundation of evolution?
foundation of evolution?
Yeah. What does the foundation of evolution come from?
Changes species over time?
Where did it start?
When evolution started?
Yep.
From just like a self-replicating RNA molecule that's like the foundation of life?
Something out of nothing kind of thing?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. But then what does that transfer into? Universe, right?
That we're not worth anything?
Well, yeah, but it also transfers into the universe, right? Planets, over millions and billions of years, takes them to... So, when you see in the sky, and they're able to create a story for us 500 or 600 years ago, that's where we come from, is up there,
Sure.
and then use the unique lights in the sky, like Jupiter, Mars, and stuff, that have different pigmentations, that may or may not be energy, light in water, okay? That's why the sky is blue, because it could be water above us, not space. Which is why a lot of people, when they go into, quote, low Earth orbit or outer space, you don't see stars, because stars are only able to be visible when we're in our atmosphere here. But when you go up to above low Earth orbit or something, the stars disappear. So there's inconsistencies with people who are astronauts, say that they saw stars, and others says that they did. Does that make sense?
So what you're saying is like what I just don't understand what inclines you. Because okay, what you're saying, like I think I don't quite understand what.
Yeah, that's fine. We gotta
connect is between
yeah.
Between saying that like evolution. You're saying that because that's the reason that we believe evolution is the same reason we believe that the Earth is round. It's all one conspiracy.
It's along those lines because
What's the purpose? Like, what's the point? Like, why
well.
think about how much money and resources it must invest towards maintaining
Yeah.
this. I mean, you said
They
drones
print money, man.
thousands.
You're familiar with the Federal Reserve, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They print money.
So
They print it like leaves grow on a tree, man.
sure.
Are you familiar with how much money they print and just get away with?
Well, it's all
And they
digital,
can't get
right?
audited anymore?
Sure.
So printing money and power is an afterthought to these guys. They want to control your mind. And they're doing that with the globe theory.
How does that?
Because if you live on a flat plane like this, and we live in a possible dome that's 25,000 in square miles, who's watching us?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
So
if we're not an accident-
I understand.
So if we're not an accident, right, that has evolved over 4.6 billion years,
So why do you think it's the UN? Why can't it be some?
this is just an example, man. This is an example of truth hidden in plain sight.
Okay.
If you watch Back to the Future, there's so many subliminal messages regarding 9/11, it would make your head spin.
How would
You know?
know that in the 80s?
Because they did it,
Oh,
man.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
If you ever watched The Simpsons,
what can I ask you? Like,
Yeah.
If the Earth was flat, I assume there's no one living under the Earth.
I don't know. The deepest that we've ever drilled is 9 miles, and that's in Russia.
So
Russia claims that we that we've drilled 9 miles. So if we do live on a spinning wet ball rocket, how are they able to tell us what the core of the Earth looks like when we've only gone 9 miles? If you walk from here, or even I'll even give you credit to drive. If you drive from New York to California, do you know what it's like in California without using any kind of instruments, weather, or anything? Just you, with no technology, would you be able to tell me what California looks like from New York?
No.
Or what's going on even weather-wise? So how is it that they're able to tell us confidently in our school books what the core of the Earth looks like when we've only drilled 9 miles?
well, you make predictions based off of physics and natural laws.
And that's what they tell you, man. But your common senses need to come back and say, okay, if they can only drill 9 miles, what's stopping them from drilling to 10?
Well, because you have a steel core. That's
I know, man. I know you want to hang out there.
How? Okay, I just want to ask a couple of questions. I'm really
Hey,
curious.
yeah, man. It's not raining anymore, so it's better. Yeah.
Okay, so according to the theories, I guess
They're all theories, man. It's all a bunch. It's just three of us coming up with ideas and writing them down. So we can do the same thing.
But they would say that the Earth is a sphere because gravity is pulling the particles together, and
Sure.
the sphere has the highest amount of surface area per volume.
Yep.
Right, and all that. Would you? So you're saying that I assume that is gravity not?
No.
So
Gravity is a theory, man.
Okay.
It cannot be measured or proven or tasted or touched or anything. Like, I can show you gravity by dropping this on the ground because this weighs more than the air around it.
So what's causing it to fall?
Density? It's as simple as that.
Why would density cause it to fall?
Because the particles on this plastic and paper weigh more than the air. And so if I was to...
weight, what is the definition of weight then?
I don't know, man. I don't know all the answers, you know? Just a guy challenging people's worldview about CGI in space. You know, and if that leads you in the direction of investigating flat Earth, I'd encourage that.
But it's not. You don't believe in gravity though.
I believe that gravity is a made-up excuse to explain whatever. Okay, sorry, man.
So, what would these people living under the disk? Would they not fall because I assume they have a high density?
In what way? What do you mean?
Well, I was trying to follow the.
No, sure.
So if people were to live under the disk.
We don't live under the disc, man. No. I mean, there might be, crevasses and tunnels, but again, like I said, 9 miles.
But what about someone who's gone on vacation around the world? You know,
Okay.
Like a
Okay,
pilot who
point it. Point out where somebody would go to vacation.
So you would say they just go around Antarctica. Is that what you would...
Yeah, I mean, you're just running around your neighborhood, man. That doesn't mean it's a sphere, right?
Okay.
So look at North America. Okay, find California.
This is the flat Earth.
Yeah, this is an idea of what a flat Earth might look like. And Antarctica is just the ring around it to hold the water in. So that myth about being joked, you'll fall off the edge, that's to brainwash you into believing in a sphere. So that when people like me come to you and present information like this, you laugh it off. You're trained to do that. You don't know where it comes from, but your subconscious response that you utter consciously is, "You're an idiot. You would fall off the edge."
Well, it's a very interesting. Well, I don't believe you fall off the edge. I mean, if the Earth were flat,
But look at
you'd be
this.
sucked into according to gravity, you'd be. But I just want, if I look at a telescope and I look at other planets appear to be spherical. So how do you?
They appear to be a circle and a light in the sky, man.
But you can see the.
The
shadow.
only time that you're given an image of what Mars looks like is through NASA, and that's CGI.
But I can see Mars outside.
Yeah, you can see a light in the sky, and it is a unique color.
It's spherical though.
It's a unique color.
But how do you believe that the other planets are also a disk?
I don't know. I've never been to any other planets, man. And they may or may not be sphere. But does that mean that the pool table's a sphere also? So if everything that you see in the sky is a sphere, like the moon may or may not be, does that mean that the pool table that you're playing your billiards on, all those balls are spheres, so that makes that the pool table a sphere? Does that make sense?
So you're saying it's possible for all the planets to be spherical and us not?
May or may not be, man. I've never been up there. But I know that everything that they give us regarding the images of outer space are CGI.
Are we rotating around the sun? Is that not?
Well, if you look at this model here, and you look and just imagine at the top point here, you know, that's the sun. Okay? So think of a pizza and a pepperoni. Let's use that illustration. For wintertime, the pepperoni would circulate around towards the edge of Antarctica, and as it becomes more and more warm for summer, the spin of that pepperoni would be closer to the North Pole, which is the center of the pizza, where you see that white part.
If that's the case, you're saying the sun is like rotating like a spotlight.
Yes, it's a spotlight. That's why you can't see. Right now, I've been to Thailand before. It's 2 o'clock in the morning there. So because the sun is a spotlight, it just illuminates us here and not over there. Because the sun is not 93 million miles away, man. It may or may not be 3,000 to 4,000 miles away.
Wait, so why is it that when I call someone from the other side of the world, it's dark there?
Yeah,
Why is that?
I just illustrated that for you a little bit.
Because he doesn't have a spotlight.
Because he doesn't have the sun on his side.
How do you explain seasons?
Well, I just kind of explained it a little bit. So when the pepperoni, if for example,
What about like equator? You know,
Why is it hotter than the equator?
Hotter than the equator. Why do you see like desert formations all in one area?
so that's where the sun is mostly localized, is in the center.
I thought you said it's a spotlight.
Well, it is a spotlight, but that's where the sun has its most tightest spin, is towards the North Pole. And when it gets out towards the Antarctic area, it's a little bit more, you know, less intense, because that's where our winter comes in, you know, and that's,
So it turns down. Whoever's controlling the sun is turning down the volume, kind of.
well, it's just getting further away from us.
Okay.
Yeah, the intensity of the sun is still the same, and it may or may not be just high electromagnetic light that makes us feel like we're becoming warm, because fire can't last in outer space. If you watch projects of people trying to use fire in zero oxygen, it just doesn't make any
It's
sense.
not. I mean, the sun isn't operated by fire. It's nuclear energy. So,
That's what they tell you, man.
oh right.
You know, so I mean,
How does the sun
this is
operate?
new information for you.
How does the sun?
I don't have all the answers, man. You'd have this stuff that you'd have to go explore,
But
you know.
why is it that, like, you don't have all the answers?
I don't.
But-
But I am challenging people of what real and CGI is.
Because it seems like if I have one theory, if I'm comparing the two theories,
Yep.
and I have one theory that we can have a pretty good answer for most of these questions, or at least we can try to. Whereas like your theory, there's a lot of gaps, right? Like you
Are there?
have to answer.
I mean, I'm not a whiz, man. I've only been doing this for 18 months.
Okay.
If I was to say I could promote the globe theory, a lot of people don't even know how far away the moon is. Do you?
Not exactly.
Do you know how far away the moon is? See, and I know more about the moon and how far the sun is away than a lot of the people who go to school right now and claim I'm the idiot. I know more about. I know you're not.
I think you're.
But what I'm trying to project here is that I know how far away the moon is because I became interested in why we're being lied to about where we live. So I had to start all over, man. I had to throw away everything you've learned in school and start all over.
Why? Like, what inclined you to not believe that theory? That like to not believe that the Earth is round. I mean, it seems so logical. to me.
Are you a Christian? I mean, I just want to go that route
No, I
a
don't
little bit.
know.
Are you a Christian?
Do you believe in some sort of deity?
Oh yeah, definitely. And if it's never crossed your mind of how evil this earth is and the people that are behind it, running it, I cannot even. There's no movie that has ever been made that could express how evil this earth is. It is given off as a shiny, replica of something that existed, but this is a very evil and deceitful reality that we live in. And it's unfortunate that the establishment is able to use the information against us and project a type of reality that they want us to believe, because it keeps us as normal human beings at a lower consciousness level and frequency level than the establishment.
Why? Why do you believe that? Like, why?
Because I've just researched and looked this stuff up, man. This is all my opinion, but this is the conclusions that I've come to. Uh-oh, Wisconsin!
But I don't. So you're saying that the Earth is evil?
Yeah.
And because the Earth is evil, you believe that there's.
We fight against not flesh and blood, but against principalities and spirits of the air, man. We fight against spirits that we can't see. And when those spirits possess other humans that feel like they're in power and they are entitled for a particular reality and they don't want us here, they're going to create a reality that is false, which is the globe and evolution. They know who God is, and they know who Jesus Christ is and who Lucifer is. But they don't want us to know that, so they hide God by telling us a lie about where we live. That's just a part of it.
On that, I don't think I understand what you're saying that. Are you Christian? Is that?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm a Christian, but I don't. Church of Latter-day Saints and Mormons and stuff. I can't agree with what they're going about and doing. I respect them, and I hope that they understand later where they're at. But
I just don't. I'm not completely understanding the connect between. So
I know you don't, man.
You're saying that the I think it's not raining.
Yeah.
But you're saying that the fact that this deity.
Yep.
I assume he's somehow involved in this conspiracy, or is he not playing a part in it?
I mean, he created us, and he's sovereign over us, and he watches over us. But he allows us to have free will, man. And so if you want to choose to, you can choose what you want to believe and what feels right to you. But there is a standard, There was a standard that was put in this reality, And so it can be hard. You can you could still be a Christian, or you can still believe in Christ, and you can, be saved and all that, and still believe in the heliocentric model.
I think it would make you more inclined to believe. I mean, if you were to believe in a deity and you were to believe in all of that, then you might as well.
Do you know what the heliocentric model is based around?
Around what?
Sun worship. So we're revolving around the sun. So in the geocentric model, the sun and the moon revolve around us. We are it.
So
We are special. We are the center of the universe. We are God's most greatest and magnificent creation ever. And Lucifer's angry because of that.
I don't understand what makes you believe. Like, what makes you believe that this? You're now,
I can't.
You're now including a guy named this Lucifer, right?
Sure.
And God.
Yep.
You're including a deity, and then you're saying that.
Sure.
Millions of people.
Because you asked, man. So.
I know, but it just seems like this is so profound. So,
yep.
There's so many details that.
Yeah, there are.
For this theory to be accurate.
No, there's not really. You just got to kind of look at what NASA gives us and what they tell us as truth, and that's all CGI, man. So if that leads you down bunny trails that you need to go down to see and be revealed to you, that's your experience. That's not his, and that's not mine. I had to experience what I had to have the confidence to stand here and speak about CGI in space.
Well, why are the images, why are they CGI? Why do they appear like this? You're saying that they're computer generated, but I assume if NASA could fake the moon landing, 9/11, all this, they have the computer, the ability to generate an image that doesn't look CGI, that we wouldn't differentiate as CGI, right? So why can't they just come up with an image that looks real?
That you're asking my question, dude.
How? I'm saying like...
Because I asked the same question, man. I asked them the same question. Dude, I've been doing this for 3 weeks, man, and I've been on Flat Earth for about 18 months. Why can't they give us real picture of a satellite in space? Why is all the images that they give us about Earth and space CGI, man?
But couldn't they generate an image?
They
that's
don't.
real? I'm saying, couldn't they?
But they don't. Listen to what I'm saying, man. I know this is new information to you, and it's going against everything that you've learned and been taught. Your whole reality about where we live is a lie and a deception. You don't live here. That's all. That's it, man. Wherever you can take that information, that is totally up to you, man. But we don't live here. You've been lied to. And if people think that it's okay to be lied to, even just to spare their feelings, I can't do anything for those people. I don't like being lied to. I don't like being deceived about somebody and who they are. They tell me that they're one thing and they're not.
Yeah.
I don't like being told that this is real and I know it's CGI now, because I used to have the blinders on before too, man. I used to be like you guys also. I had that image of Earth on my computer 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It never crossed my mind. So why they fake and do this to us? Man, you gotta watch my YouTube then. Because so many people believe it.
I mean, I think it's an interesting theory. I feel like it's very extensive. But
It is to an extent, and I went on a bunny trail on that in regards to why they would lie to us. But the fact is, all of the information that NASA gives us is just as good as Hollywood. They want you to not be able to discern what is real and what is Hollywood soon. That's why they give us 4K and 8K technology.
4K and 8K.
Yeah, 4K. You know 4K, right? 4K resolution on a TV.
Okay.
Okay. Have you ever seen a 4K TV? Okay. You got to go to Best Buy. Just humor me, okay? And just go to their television section and check out a 4K TV, man. I'm serious. And then soon they're going to have 8K technology. 8K technology with virtual reality will completely blow everybody's mind. You won't be able to tell the difference between reality and CGI. And that may or may not be what the establishment's trying to do. They will use ground towers and CGI technology to project something in the sky that may or may not be alien technology. If you think that what I'm holding here is the epitome of technology, you are sadly mistaken, my friend. The establishment is 20 to 30 years ahead of us in terms of technology. We get what the military-industrial complex allows us to have so that they can stay 3 steps ahead of us. If you don't believe that, man, then check out D-Wave Computer. You know, check out CERN. Check out artificial intelligence. I get bots coming at me all the time on Facebook telling me that I should stop, that this is dangerous, you know, stop spreading misinformation.
Really?
Yeah, and if you have discernment and you understand and you have a trained eye to read, you can discern real profiles from fake. They have artificial intelligent bots on everywhere. So people get it all the time too. I'm not the only one, man. People talk about it all the time online for YouTube creators. They get spammed by bots all the time. Or it's Smiths. You know, you get Agent Smiths who are paid by an organization to discredit a person who's giving out information. You know, so it's either you're paid human or you're a created bot.
I think it's like in order for the theory, I mean, I think it's a very interesting theory. I think,
Sure.
Obviously, you put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah.
For me, I think that for that number, just for the sheer number of people to be involved in it, I think someone would have. I think it would have.
So if you work for that company, and I allow you to come in, and you see all these different secrets, and before you even see it, before you even walk in the door, I have you sign a non-disclosure agreement. Are you familiar with what non-disclosure agreements are? Okay, well, that may or may not involve your family, finances, embarrassment. I caught you doing something behind closed doors with nobody around.
You're talking about millions of people, right? So how could if you're resorting to this conspiracy that requires millions of people to be involved? I mean, how could not a single person have?
How do you know that there's not, man? How do you know that there haven't been whistleblowers who have said stuff? Really? You have? Okay. What about Bill Cooper? You know who Bill Cooper is? No? No? Okay, so that's a guy who did extensive things before 9/11, and you've never heard of him. So if I keep naming off names of whistleblowers who have been supposedly murdered for giving out this type of information, then what would be the point? Do you understand what I'm saying? I do have names of people, like Gunderson. Do you know the last name Gunderson? No.
So what did he do?
He helped break up a lot of pedophile rings.
What does that have to do with the flat earth theory?
It has to do a lot with the flat earth theory, because once you get to a particular level in secret societies, you have to have sex with boys.
Why?
Look it up, man. Understand who understand who Crowley is. You know who Crowley is? Okay, well, a lot of people in the occult and the establishment use a lot of his teachings. And one of those teachings is to have sex with little boys so that their power is manifest even more.
Do you believe that that works?
May or may not work, man. I don't do it. So I know that that is one way of bringing demonic entities into possession of a human body. So, and if you don't believe in God or the spiritual world, then this is bogus talk.
I don't.
So, yeah.
So that's where I'm coming from, I guess, and I think that's where the dissonance is, because so where I come from, or at least like where my reasoning is coming from, is that everything we see is just exactly how we see it. So it's like,
I know, man, and it's not.
Or that at least that if it's not, then we could somehow derive evidence to show that it wouldn't be as we see it.
Yeah.
So where you're coming from is, I think that there's like, I mean, you have all these different players, like a deity and of the establishment. So then I could see how, coming from that perspective, I could see how it would make sense that there could be a flat earth, and that, you know, anything. Because if there's a conspiracy that there's a God and all that, then there might as well be, you know, a flat earth.
Yeah, and there's a funny saying, there are no atheists on a flat earth.
What? Okay.
Yeah, does that make sense? I mean, because eventually when you realize that the earth is flat, and it may or may not be an infinite plane with an unlimited amount of resources, you know, gold, water, land, and if they psychologically warfare our minds into believing that we live on a spinning wet ball rocket, doesn't that kind of limit our resources, our water, and our land? Whereas if it was an infinite flat plane with a firmament above us, and God is watching us always to know the intentions of our heart, wouldn't that kind of lead somebody in the direction of, wow, the hell have I done for my whole life? You know, so that's an idea of why they want to give us the idea that we live on a ball. Because it limits our resources. Global warming is a big deal. You know, I went to the March for Science on the 22nd of April. Everybody was holding these signs that says there is no planet B. Now, of course there's no planet B. There's only planet A, which is Earth, right? That's their concept. So their point was, we need to take care of where we live now, right? But the establishment tells us that we're limited on our land and water, and we're overpopulated, which is a complete lie, because people who follow along with that mindset then believe that humans are the problem. You know, there's more than enough land, more than enough gold and silver and resources. Like, are you familiar with how they make typical processors and graphics cards and everything for computers? A majority of it is done with gold. Okay? So there's a lot of YouTube videos that you can just look up right now and say, turn computer hardware into gold. Okay. And you can learn how to do it with basic home chemicals. You know? You're not going to get a lot, but when you do that with hundreds of thousands of computer chips, you can collect quite a bit of gold, you know.
So you're saying that there's a plethora of resources
yes.
in the flat earth?
Yes.
And if I were to invent a rocket ship that left the atmosphere, would I see the flat earth, or is that possible to leave the atmosphere?
There was a guy, in the late 1800s, I think, early 1900s. Coincidentally, his last name was Picard. You familiar with who Jean-Luc Picard is? The Starship Enterprise? That may or may not be a coincidence, but this guy took a flight in a high altitude balloon, and he was incredibly high, and he claimed that he saw the edge, that it looked like a flat disc. That's how he described it. You know, you're never going to learn that here.
But that's one guy as opposed to thousands of people who have said that they've been on the International Space Station.
Sure. And if you understand how the occult work, as you know, maybe go down this bunny trail, this might be too much information. You might have to process it for a while, but when you start going down this bunny trail and you understand the occult, you will see that they tell us the truth because it alleviates their conscience. Does that make sense? So when they allow us to know the truth in a conscious level, and they tell us, right? But then our subconscious laughs it off. And like the Truman Show, for example. You know, the Truman Show is an accurate description of where we live. The movie with Rowdy Piper called They Live is a true representation of the people around us.
The directors of the film, they're all involved.
Yes, of
They're all
course.
in on the
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're saying like 20% of the world is in on this thing.
Yeah, I'm also saying that over 50% of Hollywood are transsexual, too. So when you see a girl when you see somebody portraying themselves as a female, they're actually a guy. And when you see a guy portraying himself as a guy, he's really a female. So, I know, man. It's a bunny trail, man. If you understand what a Baphomet is, you'll understand where the establishment is trying to bring human race.
I mean, do you think it's logical to resort to conspiracy within a...
What's a conspiracy, man? Do you understand what a conspiracy
Or
is?
to resort to the flat Earth theory, when it would require so many people. I mean, just like, and also like what you're saying, like, okay, 50% of Hollywood is transsexual, or
Yeah.
that, like, when you have sex with babies, you gain power, that they believe that. Like, every one of these theories, or 9/11, it takes so many people.
So you believe in the 9/11, how the commission report came out? You believe that?
I mean, I believe we may have...
So you believe in a conspiracy, man? You're crazy. If you don't say yes after I just said, do you believe in the commission report, and you don't say yes, I believe what the government said.
I believe that what happened did happen. Do I believe that there could have been some dishonesties in the way that we were told about it? Yes.
Okay,
But
that's a conspiracy, man.
But that's not a conspiracy.
It is.
There's a difference between believing that maybe one person or two people, or you wouldn't require. I don't believe that 9/11 was planted by the government. I mean, that would require many more people.
It's fine, man. That's your conclusions, and maybe you're afraid to go down that rabbit hole and find out the truth.
You have any questions?
I mean, I know that this is information overload. Maybe you can watch the feed again later tonight or something, and kind of just understand what was said here.
Is the feed the same thing as the YouTube?
Yeah, I'll upload the video later tonight, but the feed, you can go on my Facebook right now and watch it. Yeah.
So it's the same.
My name is Joshua Swift. Yeah. So just type that in, and you'll run across me. But
Well, thanks a lot.
yeah, what's your name?
Mark.
Mark.
Nice to meet you.
Joshua. Yeah, nice to meet you too. Yep. David.
Or David. Yep.
All right, guys.
Nice to meet you.
Lots to chew on, but I hope you find what you need to see so that you can see what you need to see. That's all I can say, man.
I don't think I'm quite on the train yet.
That's fine, man. It's I'm 18 months ahead of the game, man. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things to look up, and use your own discernment, man, because everything that you see is not what it appears to be. All right? Yeah. Take it easy, guys. All right. Went as well as I had hoped. We don't know what's going to happen either, folks. We're just winging it, shooting from the hip. If people want to talk about other conspiracies, I got a list of them. I can keep up with the Joneses. Whether you agree with what I say or not is up to you. hold me accountable and investigate my claims. But, you know, it's just my opinion. What do I know, right? Just a guy who's got nothing better to do. And I just have a burden to share this information. I think it's important. I think it's important to know where we live. So, if you're just joining, just showing off the most positive response sign that satellites don't exist, and that can, as you can see, lead into all sorts of conversations.
Pillsbury. Walk sign is on the crossing. Pillsbury. Pillsbury. Walk sign is on the crossing. Pillsbury. Walk sign is on the crossing. Pillsbury. Walk sign is on the crossing. Pillsbury. 11.
Just trying to bring awareness. How you doing?
5.
Bring some awareness to everybody. I think we might skedaddle this corner and just get another perspective. Shuffle the deck, if you will. Just get a new line of sight of what people are up to. People are still just walking around, hanging out. It is Wednesday, early afternoon. Stopped raining. So we're just going to take a meander around the corner and see if we can challenge some more people. Hope everybody's doing well today. Thanks for stopping by, and took a couple days off to hang out with some family, but we're back. Plan on going to the Roseville NASA Center. Hey guys. So we're going to go to Roseville here in the next couple of days. I think they have a NASA building. I don't know what is there. They probably have some fake mockeries of a shuttle, I'm sure. Could probably buy some propaganda. So we'll find out what public sidewalk I can stand on and inform the public that this building is full of liars. Whether they know it or not, that's the thing. A lot of people don't know. And they probably would still work there if they found out that it was a massive fraud, because they probably get paid really good money there. So just trying to stay positive today. Had some difficulties on Sunday. So I felt it was probably good just to take a couple days off and kind of reset. And so we're still walking around the campus. Don't really have any plans of where to go, but try to find a popular corner. We are dressed for success for the establishment. A little black and white for you. Trying to convolute the typical black and white checkerboard that you'll see in most music videos. The black and white is for duality. esoteric, exoteric, double speak. They have a new term nowadays. It's politically correct to lie. They just call it double speak now. Saying one thing and doing another. When you say one thing and do another with your parents, though, you get grounded. It's okay for politicians to do it. I did get some sun. So I have quite the farmer's tan. Face is tan, but the rest of my hands are tan too. I want to show you this if you're just coming into. My niece, when I saw her up in Alexandria, she gave me a black and white bracelet. I thought that was really cute. I was like, wow, how did you know? She handed it to me, and then I showed her my black and white rings. I'm like, hey, I wear black and white rings. Right? That's not a coincidence, guys. Come on. But some people will say that's a coincidence, and still got about probably 30 more minutes, and then we'll end this feed and then go to get some lunch. Just trying to feel where I feel being led to. Just want to obviously get the most. I did get a new sign made. It's a bigger sign. It's about 22 inches by 17 inches. I think I'm going to use that signage. Stand at an intersection where people are getting off the freeway, where some panhandlers might be. Oh, and I do have M&Ms. I forgot to give those guys M&Ms. A girl on Sunday gave me a bag of M&Ms. So I'll try to hand those out. But we just gotta stay positive, guys. That's all we gotta do. Just give out a positive energy. You know, I don't try to talk down to people who don't know. But I did get a little frustrated with Mark at the end. I'm just, you know, there's so much information, but the crux of my point of being here is just to share that we're being told that CGI is real and that it's being passed off as real. And I just have a problem with that. And a lot of people think like I was a one-trick pony. Just do this for a couple of days to get it out of my system. But that is what I wanted to do at the CF walk. I felt like I had to get that out of my system. Yeah, the earth can still be flat with mountains on it. So we're back at the Soylent Green factory. If you don't know what Soylent Green is, check it out. It is a movie. Soylent Green. Alright, I think we're going to come down here at this corner because there's some food that I want to go to on the strip. Right down here. There's Minneapolis down there. We've been down there a couple of times. I think I'm going to go down here probably next week because there's still a lot of construction going on. Kind of want to wait until they're done with it. So I think I might come here to the U pretty often. I am tired though. I do gotta catch my breath. That's for sure. So, help kids succeed. So we got a bigger sign of satellites not existing that will debut this weekend when it's supposed to be nicer. I think it'll get more attention. It's just a bigger sign of this guy and that guy. I wanted to wait till I got some stencils for it, and I was able to use stencils yesterday and make it all pretty. So we'll hang out here, see if we can get some interactions and just to share it to these people driving by. That satellites don't exist and your whole reality is a massive deception. It sucks, but you know, maybe in 5 or 6 months when it does matter, it might click and just be like, oh, interesting. A lot of kids here too, they're really open-minded. So, yep, this is a picture of what they tell us is a real satellite. But that satellite's on the ground. So, it's not really a good representation. I don't know. Maybe something's going to happen this year. I don't know. Maybe nothing's going to happen. But I'll tell you what, if I stand out here every day until the big conference that's going on in Raleigh, North Carolina, second week of November, check that out. There is a massive Flat Earth convention going on. This, I think November 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, like 3 or 4 days. So check that out. Just this guy down here shook his head. He was embarrassed. He was embarrassed to call me another human being, I guess. Look at these guys.
Oh yeah, you're cool. Definitely a sleeper.
2 men in a truck. If you need help moving, these guys could probably help you out. Shameless advertising for them. Let's encourage you guys also to check out some live Google Hangouts. Just go on YouTube, type in live. You've been exposed. He's got a live chat regularly. Might have one going on right now. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at YouTube today. Brother Sanchez also has live streams. And Globebusters, they all have live streams. You could YouTube those. There were some live streams that happened over the weekend. What's up? Satellites don't exist. Everything's CGI, man. CGI. Means you're being lied to. Yeah, he didn't like to hear that. What does that mean? Well, you're being deceived, man. They're passing off computer images as real, and people believe it. And that's fine. If you gotta humble yourself and just say, hey, you know what? That was pretty foolish of me to think that an image of Earth from outer space on my computer screen was real, and I found out it's CGI. Step back. We'll bring you right back into the fold. You know, there's no shaming here. No shaming. Yeah, it's called parlor tricks, man. It's called parlor tricks. They didn't actually give us a picture of the blue marble until 1972. And if you think that the government and society are in line step with technology, you are greatly deceived. You need to understand that the establishment is 20 to 30 years ahead of us, and they only give us the technology that they feel would allow us to stay where we're at, but always 3 steps behind. Why do you think Minority Report with Tom Cruise was so cool? They were giving us touchscreen technology years before. Tablets, holographic touchscreens, all that stuff is available. But I hate to break it to you, all these futuristic movies and TV shows, that's not for you or me, that's for them. After the massive reset that may or may not happen. If you're not familiar with what the Georgia Guidestones are, do that right now. Georgia Guidestones. That's the establishment's top 10. Hey. Rule number 1 on the Guidestones is reduce the population down to 500 million people. That may or may not be true, but it is interesting for somebody to build a bunch of 12 or 13 foot tall stone sculptures in, I think, 11 languages and tell everybody on Earth that they want to reduce the population down to 500 million people. I'm going to guess that whoever's watching this or listening to that is not on the guest list. So, might want to get your house in order. Yeah, I do have a kind of a feeling of how Noah felt building the ark. And the saddened heart that he had, I'm sure, when people were banging on his door when it started to rain. How you doing? I'm hungry, I don't know what to eat. I want noodles, but they don't really have any good noodles around here. It's all Vietnamese and Chinese food. They do an okay trying to simulate Thai food, but they have a bubble tea restaurant, just a couple, like a right down there, in that direction. So we'll just see what else happens here. Huh? Satellites don't exist, honey. They're CGI. So is everything that NASA gives us. It's all CGI. Please wake up. Then again, people don't realize that there's cameras everywhere at this intersection. So it's okay for the establishment to access your phone and microphone on your phone, right? Tablet. And your smart TV. Your smart TV most likely has a camera and microphone on it. And they do admit in their manual that they do have access to send that information to third parties, and that third party may or may not be the military-industrial complex. So I would suggest, this is just what I do, putting electrical tape or over your selfie camera. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Have you ever been to Roswell, New Mexico?
No.
No?
No.
But you believe in aliens?
No.
No, you're wearing an alien t-shirt though.
Well, yeah, it's just kind of fun.
Oh.
Yep.
Do you believe that satellites don't exist? Is this a pretty ridiculous statement?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does this look like a picture of a real satellite? So if all you get on the online are CGI images, it's all fake, honey. Fake. It's all a deception. So yeah, you know, they even say that Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook puts tape on his laptop and tablet and phone. But hey, you know, it's up to you. They do use that information against you. They create artificial intelligent consciousness through the D-Wave computer. And that's how they're able to create these bots that harass me regularly on Facebook. They are learning, computers. So they mistype and say things when you say or type in keywords. I wish you were a bot, Tim, and the sad thing is you're not. But the best part about it is you can change. It takes a while. You know, the Berlin Wall didn't fall overnight, you know. But they do have artificial intelligence, D-Wave computers. They have more than enough artificial intelligence bots to cause people to fall into doubt about what it is that they believe. Even on the cystic fibrosis website, when I was on the CFF Foundation Facebook page, I was attacked by 3 bots immediately when I started talking about particular keywords. I don't know, like fraud and liars and $3.3 billion. Coincidentally enough, I get bombarded by AI. So there are some good dystopian type movies out there that I would suggest watching. Hey. So I think we're coming up on 2 hours, huh? Haven't had too many issues with my feed yet, but might go back to Chipotle. Had some good conversations at that corner. So we might just call it here, take a break for a little bit, get some food, and then come back to you guys. So, alright guys, so thanks for watching. I'm gonna take a break, get some food, and start back up soon, and then go for another 2 hours, and then see what happens. But thanks for watching. Try to stay tuned. Within the next hour or so, I'll come back live at the University of Minnesota, Dinkytown on May 10th. See ya.